Wednesday, April 12, 2023. You're live on My Media Prime TV and you are on Prime News. I am Sama Eileen for presentation. We begin the news in the Northwest region with this disturbing story. Commercial bike riders went on rampage this morning in Bamenda, chief town of the Northwest region, after a police vehicle on patrol knocked down a bike and two traders. The sad incident occurred around the food market along the fish pond stretch. Fon Quinter narrates.
These gruntled commercial motorbike riders parading the streets of Bamenda this morning with the remains of their colleague on a hospital stretcher. The deceased, identified as Tebit Gilbert Anning, a commercial bike rider, took his last breath this 12th day of April 2023 after he was knocked down by a police vehicle around Food Market Bamenda.
Population is there for middle road place. So when you come from middle road people there, normally will stop me there and chance to pass. Just sound down, speed. That guy, he should say the guy one shot to give way me the pass. Speed can't jump that boy. You jump that boy. Emma, Trojan mommy food. You see that mommy food said, you don't even know say Trojan mommy down.
To the dismay of onlookers, the driver of the police vehicle continued as though nothing had happened. Those on the scene of the incident, especially other bike riders, took their colleague and other victims to hospital.
So me they give you the piece. Me they take the people and go put up to and I can't go level hospital about. The level hospital about say me all by me people the way to show me all with that. They go now, we kind of now with the angry heart. That means it's not video for Bamenda with the angry heart.
In a state of confusion and frustration, other motorcycle riders carried their colleague from hospital roundabout, passing through Commercial Avenue, Sonak Street, Central Police, Veterinary Junction, Gang Junction, Maitu, and took the new road to the governor's office, who was not on seat. There, security, municipal, and administrative authorities calmed them down.
Hello, your friend. We are too many like this. We cannot address or to say what we want to say.
The Bamenda City Mayor assured the disgruntled bike riders that the police will commit the act, who will be tracked and questioned.
I will personally ensure say I will investigate who be that policeman and why he do that act. But when I trust me for once. Now right here, because if Jigade were a small toe, you don't move up, you contaminate the other 5 toe. Not so. So make una know say every problem will be solved according to the sense.
The scene became more emotional when late Gilbert's baby was lifted up in the presence of security, administrative, and municipal authorities. At the time of this report, 3 persons are said to be receiving medical care in hospital. 2 ladies knocked down by the police car alongside a motorcycle rider and wife of the deceased, who collapsed according to those on the ground. Meantime, the remains of Gilbert has been deposited at the Bamenda Regional Hospital mortuary, with many asking the question, when will they wake up to a peaceful Bamenda?
The plenary session as of right at the Senate has been opened by the elders member Rene Zekele, assisted by 2 youngest members, Jean-Caroline Afane and Michelle Kotoko. Bo Elvis spoke to some senators shortly after the opening session on their expectations and compiled the following report.
Chaired by the eldest member of the House, Rene Zekele, this session has officially opened the 3rd mandate as senators of the nation get ready to defend the interests of their people.
I look forward to incorporating the experience gathered from the 1st and 2nd mandate in embracing the challenge that lies ahead.
Newcomers to the Senate are ready to bring in fresh impetus to the upper house of Parliament.
This is my first time of being here at the Senate. In fact, I feel really honored, humbled and excited and overwhelmed with joy. And I want to thank God Almighty for this special grace and to thank especially the head of state, who is the chairman of our great national party, the SPDM, for the confidence bestowed upon me to serve the Cameroon nation as a senator.
The senators are following with keen attention problems plaguing the nation and are ready to provide solutions.
Well, the crisis in the northwest and southwest region has been going on for quite some time. But when you look at it today, it looks like our children in the bushes are coming a bit back to senses. I think we'll just redouble our efforts to sensitize them and to find lasting solutions, because in a warlike situation, there is no winner, there is no loser.
Following this opening session, the Senate will set up verification committees to look into the files of all senators so as to avoid incompatibilities. This will be done before the dishing out of attributes and then followed by the election of a new bureau.
On to education news now. The Ministry of Basic Education has organized a capacity building workshop to train actors involved in budget implementation. The workshop took place on April 11, 2023 at the Littoral Governor's Office in Bonanjo, Douala. Ewane with details.
The main objective of this capacity building workshop was to train actors involved in the management of the state's budget on public finance and decentralization process for the 2023 fiscal year. The workshop, organized by the Ministry of Basic Education, took place at the Littoral Governor's Office in Bonanjo, Douala on April 11, 2023, and was presided out by the representative of the Governor of the Littoral region.
So we launched a seminar concerning the reinforcement of capacity of responsible in charge of budget execution in the Ministry of Basic Education. So the head of this administration is trying to train particularly all his collaborators in charge of the budget.
The event also took interest in the provision of minimum package to local councils and infrastructural benefits of these councils through decentralization processes.
L'objectif étant de rechercher la meilleure performance.
The objective was to get the best method to be used in the management of state budget and to reinforce the capacity of local administrators involved. We have also discovered some innovations in relation to the finance law in our ministerial department. We have insisted on functional credits for schools and modalities applied in the usage of minimum package.
Le package du paquet minimum doit être constitué. Nous allons le faire avec les maires pour que, au finish, que nous atteignions les objectifs dont nous sommes assignés.
These actors involved in the budget implementation are thus expected to stick to the modalities recommended for the benefit of the local community.
They have to follow different points of this seminar, and they have to implement those points in the field, and the result will be okay.
While waiting for the next evaluation phase, it is expected that actors meet up with set objectives, which will of course enhance development in local communities.
On a feature page, drug consumption in Cameroon is reportedly on the rise, with drugs like tramadol, marijuana and alcohol commonly consumed by youths between 18 and 25 years, who later suffer health complications like brain damage, lung or heart diseases, depression, stroke, seizures, and even death. Details right ahead. Drug consumption among the youth in Cameroon has become not only a security issue, but also a major health problem. According to data from the World Health Organization available in 2018, drug abuse in Cameroon caused 0.32% of total deaths, making the country 16th in the world. Drug abuse and illicit trafficking in Cameroon has reached worrisome proportions, especially in the troubled regions where drug users continue to increase on a daily basis. But why the rise in drug consumption in the country? Dr. Sah Kamala explains.
That's a good question. The fact is that most of the youth in Cameroon become idle. They don't have any job, they look for job, they have nothing to do. So as life has become so stressful, they choose a way to escape from their reality, and generally that's drugs use disorder.
Dr. Sang Kamala says accepting that one is a drug addict is a major step towards combating the addiction.
The first challenge the drug addict should to accept that he's addicted to drug, because the first step is acceptation. After that, with the help of his family, he should go closer to help professional like the consumption of drugs impacts all the steps of the society, the family, the economics, and even the herd. Drugs can lead to death. That's important to know. Drugs also is a bad thing because it makes young people with knowledge not to go into school and to develop skills that will help the nation. Also, drugs is very harsh for the family because family goes into bad situation and live in trauma because a sibling has gone into drugs.
According to the health expert, government has been very instrumental in combating this societal ill.
The government has intensified the fight against drugs use disorder. Why? Because at the head of every region is a chief medical officer that's coordinating the fight against drugs. Also, we have a national coordinator coordinating the fight against drugs. Now, our challenge is to have facilities that will be close to the population suffering from the drugs use disorder to impact and touch them for a good change.
Worth highlighting is the fact that data from the National Drugs Control Committee says 25% of Cameroonians have once consumed drugs, 10% are regular drug users, and 60% of drug users are youth between ages 18 to 25. This human interest story, 3 suspects have been arrested for managing an illegal factory producing vinegar, which is detrimental to human health. They were arrested recently after an operation carried out by elements of the National Gendarmerie Brigade in Yaoundé. Catherine Ekongwe tells us more.
In these plastic bags and gallons are vinegars considered harmful to human health that have been produced and sold in diverse sales points in the country. The suspected producers of the fake products were apprehended recently after a special operation carried out by the National Gendarmerie in Yaoundé.
We were made to understand that there was a local factory that fabricates vinegar illegally. So we had to mount an operation which led to the interception of 3 guys, and a lot of equipment were seized, amongst which we had vinegar, already fabricated bottles, and a lot of equipment.
The operation led to the arrest of 3 persons who are under custody at the National Gendarmerie for judicial procedures. The commander called on the population to work in close collaboration with the National Gendarmerie to be able to stop the production and sales of these products, which are considered detrimental to human health.
our call to the population to continue to collaborate with the National Gendarmerie, because it is only through their collaboration, their close collaboration, that we are sure to put an end to all these atrocities.
Meantime, investigations have been opened to uncover the whole network.
Let's now talk health. Chronic alcohol consumption is associated with premature birth, low birth weight, neonatal death defects, and deaths. Every April, health organizations, agencies, and personnel come together to raise awareness regarding the complications of alcohol on one's health, especially expectant mothers. Bokengo Worthy Kemia reports.
Every unborn child is impacted differently by alcohol.
The baby is expected to have a weight of at least 2.5 kilograms, but you find most of them are underweight, they are below this. Then there could be premature delivery. You can deliver this child before time, because these substances, they could trigger labor before time. Also, you find most of them, some even die. Why not? Because of too much alcohol. You find some of them, they deliver them, they are deformed. They have a lot of deformities.
Laying emphasis on the effects of alcohol on baby, the midwife says,
Most of these alcoholic babies, you need to see when they deliver them. They are really small for date. They look very, very small. They look tiny. There's a baby that tiny. That baby was already 2 years, but still could not walk, could not talk, could not even creep.
With many pregnant women unaware of the effects of alcohol on their baby, she encourages midwives to.
I'm saying this specifically also to midwives and nurses who are responsible for ANC clinics. These are the kind of social history that you are going to watch out for these pregnant women. We are expected to ask them the quantity of alcohol they take, whether they smoke or not.
Worthy of note is the fact that Cameroon is one of the countries with the highest maternal mortality rate, having an estimated 12 to 13 deaths daily. To this regard, pregnant women are encouraged to choose healthy lifestyle choices for their overall health and that of their baby, making ANC visits a priority.
In sports news, the first edition of the inter-brigade competition of the 31st Motorized Infantry Brigade, called the Fraternity Tournament, has taken place in Gaundare. The closing ceremony was chaired by the commander of the 31st Motorized Infantry Brigade, Colonel Dominic Njoka, in the presence of several other military authorities. Details in the following report compiled for us by Joingo.
For 3 days, 5 different battalions which make up the 31st Motorized Infantry Brigade gathered in Gaundare to take part in the Cohesion Tournament, an IDM initiated by their commander, Colonel Dominic Njoka.
The tournament is just a tournament organized, cohesion tournament to bring soldiers together. We know each other. There are soldiers here after a training center. They are sent to different battalions. They've never met their classmates. This is an opportunity for them to meet with each other and then also to drive away the stress. You know, we are always in the bushes. There's no time to come out and enjoy ourselves. So this just to take advantage of this Easter weekend to enjoy a bit, play, amuse, and then from tomorrow we go back to the Operation Theater and we continue with the fight against armed robbers.
To mark this sporting event, all officers of different ranks participated in the different sports activities.
It was a good thing. We enjoyed everything, no matter the defeat. It was hard for us to have this lose, but we gave our best in everything we did. And we thank Colonel Njoka for organizing this great competition in order to bring a cohesion between us, the battalions that are working under him, to come together and work together no matter the difficulties we face on the field, like fighting in different things. But he thought it wise for us to come to town to have some fun and give pleasure to the National Army in terms of military.
For this first edition of the Cohesion Tournament, 2 sports disciplines were maintained, among which are football and volleyball. At the end of the football competition, the team of the 33rd Motorized Infantry Brigade dominated the 31st Brigade with a score of 1-0. In volleyball, the 31st Motorized Infantry Brigade emerged victorious against the 33rd Brigade with a score of 3-1. The events were concluded by a gala night.
Join Gang reporting there. Now, some Cameroonians who return home from Tunisia following xenophobic attacks on sub-Saharan African migrants arrived Yaoundé on April 6th. Government equally handed them a check of 65,000 francs each. Get details in the following report by Julian Dambe.